Hey guys, it's Wayne again. It's been a minute since I made a video. A minute, right? It's been a while. I'm trying to answer a few questions that I get periodically, and hopefully this will be a valuable video for you. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking it out, and like, subscribe, share, do all the routine to help us guys get this content out. So I appreciate it. Let's get started. The first tip, it seems kind of elementary kind of deal, but when you the first question I had was how do you take, if I don't have the kind of money to spend eight, nine, $1,000, $1,500 in a vacuum, especially if I don't even believe in spending that kind of money in a vacuum, right? How do I maintain a cheap vacuum? The Walmart special, right? How do I maintain those vacuums so at least I can get the most out of it? And the first part is, yes, you're probably going to get a better quality machine from those higher end type of purchases. One, and it's not necessarily the case for everything. Right? Like more doesn't necessarily mean better. But the companies have more to lose, more reputation on the line when it comes to selling a machine that's worth $1,000, or well, not worth, let's say that's priced at $1,000+, and for it to be cheap quality. Okay, you're not going to last long in that. So you're most likely going to get a better quality machine. But all the same, let's say you bought one of the, the regular, Bissell's, Hoovers, which for the most part have a very good warranty compared to some of the older. So I would say that it's a trade-off, okay? You spend $800, $1,000, which is fine, and compared to spending $100, $200, $300. But a lot of the times, those 200, 300 vacuums may have a more solid warranty system set up to make sure that you're covered. So you weigh those two things. But anyway, let me I digress, right? So let's go back to how do you get a cheap vacuum to kind of last longer for you? First things first is to find out what are the basic things you need to maintain it. Like look at the machine, right? Let's just say, for example, I have. Let me take this one. Okay. Let's say you have something like this, like basic vacuum. Turn it on, plug it in, turn it on, vacuum, and that's kind of how we treat it. We get it home, put the two screws in so the handle's adjusted, plug it in, turn it on, start vacuum. Figure out what kind of belt that you have. It's probably in the book. Figure out what kind of belt you have, and is it easy to get? Okay. Does it use a filter, and how often should I either change it or clean it? Because oftentimes I'll get machines in here and you could tell that the person probably didn't even know they had a filter. I don't think that it's just that they just neglected the machine, like just let it go bad. It's just that I can tell that this filter was never changed, never, dusted off or anything of that nature. So and then that puts a strain on your motor, and then you're wondering, my machine is just starting to make this crazy noise, and I turn it on, and it's not the brush. It turns out that it's the motor, and the motor, it was just straining for hours. Trying to get some air in there, so find that out. Find out what kind of belt you're going to use. What kind of brush, and I'm not a fan of the plastic brush with the plastic end caps, because they're gonna melt. So if you're gonna buy one of the cheaper end type of machine, know that that's probably what you're gonna expect. That brush roll is gonna need to be replaced, most likely, maybe once or twice in the life of your machine, because that's just what happens. Hair. Not mine, but here we'll get in the end caps, the very ends, and then it'll start to melt, get hot, and those caps, all of a sudden your belts are breaking real fast. You're wondering what's happening. the brush is not turning properly, and the first thing to go between the brush and the motor is gonna, yeah, the brush and the motor is the belt. The belt's gonna go. Okay, the motor's not gonna stop because of the brush. Okay, but the brush will stop, and the belt will break in that process. All right, that's out the way. Okay, so let's say you have a shampooer. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back to vacuums. Someone made a comment that they're having a tough time with putting the belts on the sharks. Okay, certain sharks, it's not as difficult. You just have to be willing to take all the 2,000 screws out to get to it. if you're up to it, go for it, right? The others, like the duo style, that when you lift off. Let me kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about. Here's two of them, right? Here's two of them. You have one to this. So, all right. So the belt is actually on this one here, okay? And then the other one, let me show you. Is there a belt? Yeah, there's a belt here, and it don't quite reach all the way to this. So yeah, I can understand if you're having a tough time getting this on, because some of these machines, you literally would have to move the motor, get the screws out and kind of, let's say this is the motor, kind of move the motor forward, get the belt, push the motor back and put the screws in. Okay. So it's not just pop the belt on and you're good to go. So if you are willing to do that kind of work with these machines here, that's probably what you have to be prepared for. So to save you the frustration and all those, it's probably best you just have someone else do it if you're not willing to be go through the learning curve of doing this. Because what you don't want to do is beat yourself up because now you damn, not just your belt's broken, but now you broke something else that can't really be replaced, like some of the plastics and things like that in the case. So that's something to be aware of for that person who's asking me about that motor, about the shark. And here's another one. Here's another one. For this one, the gear on this got messed up. And you can see how it just kind of the belt started to eat away at this here. So some of these things, man, it's not worth you messing around with because of what is going to mentally put you through. I lost my hair doing this. No, that was a decision from a long time ago. I was done with the whole shaping up my head and all that stuff. I was like, man, I'm gonna take it off. And then I tried to grow it. I was like, oh man, look at that hairline. Forget it. So anyway, next. Too much info, right? Next. Okay, so let me get this guy down. I wasn't really talking about this. So now you have stuff like shampooers. Okay, like some of the Hoovers don't use a belt. Okay, they use a turbine assembly that. Let me see if I can pull this out. Okay, yeah, right, something like this, where the brush snaps up beneath the unit, and it connects to a turbine assembly. I should have had it here, man. I'm prepared. I was just, and then it spins. Okay, so this is not a belt-driven machine. So if it stops turning, most likely the turbine is rusted on the inside. Sometimes the fans break, and sometimes this thing breaks. Just snaps right off. Okay, so there's a couple of things you just have to be aware of if you want a machine that's going to last you longer. Change your belt often. Change your brush. Clean those filters out. I'm still a fan of the bag machines because I just throw the bag out, change the belt. Most of the time, that's really all you need to do. I don't have to check filters and all those things because the bag is the filter. Okay, but that's just my personal preference. But I am a fan of the Dyson creativity, Sharks and all those guys who are doing different things. The robot vacuums. I'm a fan of those things as an individual, but I do see the service side of it, and that's a whole different scenario. Okay, so um, you know, but anyway, hopefully that information can help someone who's, you buy a vacuum, you may not have spent $1,000, but you're like, man, I want this thing to serve me. And also, here's the other thing: cleaning with these machines, take your time. Go over the carpet a few more times than you would if you were using a Kirby, let's say, okay, that or a Royal. That's suction is kind of concentrated at the front of the machine, and the brush rolls are designed to give you maximum cleaning. So those kind of machines you may not have to go over as often. So how do you compensate? Spend a little bit more time vacuuming. Cover that carpet thoroughly. Take your time with it. All right. So yeah, you didn't go out and spend the big bucks on that kind of cleaning, but you're spending the big bucks in time to make sure your carpet gets clean. Get the job done. I do that same thing with shampooers. I was a fan. I still am. I'm a fan of Kirby machines. I like the versatility and the creativity, and the way it was created. But I use the vacuum. Like most Kirby customers, they use the vacuum, and some use the shampooer. Right? Very few use the attachments. Okay. So I use the vacuum, but because I want my boys to shampoo carpet at the house, chores, it's easier for them to just whip out a Hoover and just put water solution, plug it in, or Bissell, and shampoo, right? So what I do is I just make sure that they go over the carpet after they shampoo it. They go over it thoroughly, a lot, to do the extraction. Okay, and that's scrubbing the carpet and also sucking the water out. So how do you compensate for I'm not having them use a dry foam Kirby shampooer to shampoo. I have them use a Hoover shampoo or a Bissell shampoo, but I'm gonna make sure that I overcompensate on the amount of times that they're going back and forth over the carpet to get similar results. See that? So it works out. Okay. So that's how you get the most out of a cheaper machine. So be prepared to replace those little things like filters, brushes, belts. Take your time cleaning. And also one last thing. Believe it or not, it's psychological. Clean your machine. I'm serious. Okay, it's a vacuum, right? And it's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get dusty, especially the shampooers. I hate cleaning shampooers, but it's what happens if you leave it in a dirty state. You're gonna treat it like that. You're gonna treat it like it's just a knockaround. So then your wallet gets knocked around. Okay, that's just the way it is. So clean it. Just once in a while, wipe it down. You got some of the side the what do you call that? The paint off the sideboards and all that stuff, and get a scrubbing pad or something and just kind of clean this. Yeah, once in a while, just clean it up, because you'll treat it that way. Okay, and you're gonna end up buying a bunch of them, and there's especially the shampooers. Man, bless you if you go through it, because I hate it. To clean all that carpet gook out of the shampooer and all that stuff, it looks gross. If you have pets, So, but if you don't, psychologically, you treat that machine like it's like that. Okay. So anyway, I hope this was able to help you guys. If not, I'll come up with something else, man. I'll try to find a way to make sure I give you some kind of information. You can request it, and then I'll see what I can do. All right. Until next time, please, like, share, subscribe. Visit our website, monroevacuums.com. We have, and if we don't have something on the site, it's easy to call me. A lot of guys call me and ask me questions. Say, Wayne, I saw you on YouTube, man. I have a question for you. No big deal. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.